Welcome to Volume 9, Part 2, Day 2. And in this whole Volume 9 series, we are exploring ancient as well as present day wisdom from philosophers, gurus, and poets who allow us to look into the reason behind many of the philosophies and teachings of today and yesterday. It allows you to kind of look behind the curtain. Instead of like when you were a kid growing up and people just said, do what I say, sometimes do as I say, not as I do, or sometimes you didn't get a complete answer. This is the most in-depth answer that I believe you can get. And so this wise man that we're going to explore today is Mooji, and he's another teacher of wisdom. Only this one is not from the 13th century like Rumi is. Instead, Mooji was born January 9th, 1954. He's a Jamaican-born spiritual teacher, author, and a present-day spiritual leader. He has spent years as a street artist and stained glass craftsman before becoming an art teacher at Brixton College. Following a deep personal crisis and the death of a sister, Mooji met a Christian mystic whose prayer marked a profound inner transformation in him. And this experience caused him to step away from his career to dedicate his life to prayer. Not only did he dedicate his life to prayer, but meditation and spiritual inquiry. And this part that I'm going to share with you guys is Mooji's approach and thoughts about addiction. Mooji views addiction not merely as a physical or psychological habit, but fundamentally as a misidentification with the ego and mind. In his non-duality teachings, he approaches addiction from a perspective that shifts the focus away from struggling against the habit and toward questioning who is experiencing it. So some key themes in Mooji's teaching on addiction. Number one, the costume versus the true self. Mooji teaches that the person who feels addicted, along with the cravings, shame, and repetitive thoughts, is part of the conditioning or prisonhood of the ego, body, mind. Maya, which stands for illusion, can only get you if you limit your identification to a body-mind identity. He encourages people to recognize that the core of who they are is the unconditioned silent witness observing the addiction rather than the addict itself. Number two, breaking the hook of identification. Rather than telling people to fight their cravings with willpower, Mooji, spelled Mooji, focuses on withdrawing belief from the narrative around the craving. When a strong urge or thought arises, the mind tells a story. That story is, I need this. I can't handle this feeling. I am failing. Mooji advises standing back as the observer of those thoughts and sensations, letting them arise and pass without claiming them as my problem or my craving. Number three, refusing to accept the identity. In dialogues with visitors struggling with deep-seated habits of addiction, Mooji often refuses to address them strictly as an addict. He points out that treating a person solely through the identity they hold keeps them trapped in that dynamic. Real freedom begins when you step back from the story of yourself and realize that your essential nature was never damaged or addicted in the first place. Your essential nature can also be called your true self, who you really are. Mooji goes with the premise that we are basically living in a dualistic identity, and we're not who we present ourselves to be to the world. So that's not the real you anyway, and as a result, you don't need a label. This is part of his philosophy. Number 4, the role of surrender. Mooji emphasizes that trying to fix the self with the self, that's the false self, by the way, using the same mind that created the loop to solve the loop, often leads to exhaustion. Instead, he points toward surrender, releasing the identity, dropping the past, the past/future narrative, and resting in present awareness. I'm going to say that again. Instead, he points towards surrender, releasing the identity, keeping in mind that's not the real you, according to him, dropping the past/future narrative, and resting in present awareness. The practical application from Mooji's view. In practical spiritual inquiry, Mooji's approach to dealing with an urge or habit involves, number 1, notice the urge arising without judging or fighting it immediately. Number 2, ask the question, who is aware of this urge? Number 3, observe. Is the space observing the desire itself addicted, or is it completely free and unaffected? By grounding yourself in that observing awareness, the urge loses its momentum and its power to dictate action. Something to think about from a very wise spiritual teacher. Thanks for listening. End of Volume 9, Part 2, Day 2. Thank you.